Last May, India carried out an unprovoked military aggression in breach of international law and Pakistan's sovereignty. Acting in accordance with Article 51 of the Charter, Pakistan exercised its inherent right of self-defense in a responsible, restrained, and proportionate manner. Our response established that there can be no new normal based on coercion or impunity. Respect for international law remains the only legitimate norm governing interstate conduct. And that conflict also reminded that the root cause of instability in South Asia remains India's illegal occupation of Jammu and Kashmir in gross violation of Security Council resolutions. The continued denial of the right to self-determination of the Kashmiri people has grave human rights consequences and imperils durable peace in the region. India's unilateral suspension of the Indus Water Treaty is another blatant breach of international obligations, threatening the lives and livelihoods of millions and endangering peace and security. Pakistan rejects the weaponization of water and critical natural resources. Treaty compliance is a cornerstone of the international legal order. As a country with unwavering faith in international law and multilateralism, Pakistan is committed to pacific settlement of disputes. And this was evident when, within weeks of defeating the military aggression, Pakistan led the unanimous adoption of Resolution 2788 on peaceful settlement of disputes by this Council last July, reaffirming the Council's collective commitment to dialogue, mediation, judicial settlement, and other peaceful means as the first recourse in resolving disputes. President, while some in the West are saying it now, we know that due to double standards and lack of full compliance, the international system has often failed and fallen short of fully benefiting many countries, particularly in the global South. Yet, the developing nations have continued to place their faith in the UN Charter and in an equitable and just international order.
Mr. President, I now respond to the comments of the representative of Pakistan, an elected member of the Security Council, which has a single-point agenda to harm my country and my people. He has advanced a false and self-serving account of Operation Sindoor in May last year. The facts on this matter are clear. Pakistan-sponsored terrorists killed 26 innocent civilians in a brutal attack in Pahalgam in April 2025. This august body itself called for holding the perpetrators, organizers, financiers, and sponsors of this reprehensible act of terrorism accountable and brought to justice. That is exactly what we did. India's actions were measured, non-escalatory, and responsible, and focused on dismantling the terrorist infrastructure and disabling terrorists. Till 9th of May, Pakistan was threatening more attacks on India. But on the 10th of May, the Pakistani military called our military directly and pleaded for a cessation to the fighting. The destruction caused to multiple Pakistani air bases by the Indian operation, including images of destroyed runways and burnt-out hangars, are in the public domain. We have heard talk from the representative of Pakistan about the new normal. Let me reiterate again that terrorism can never be normalized as Pakistan wishes to do. It is not normal to tolerate Pakistan's continued use of terrorism as an instrument of state policy. This hallowed chamber cannot become a forum for Pakistan to legitimize terrorism. We will do whatever required to protect and ensure the safety and security of our citizens. Furthermore, Pakistan has no locus standi to comment on matters that are internal to India. The Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has been, is, and will always remain an integral and inalienable part of India. India had entered into the Indus Water Treaty 65 years ago in good faith, in a spirit of goodwill and friendship. Throughout the 6.5 decades, Pakistan has violated the spirit of the treaty by inflicting 3 wars and thousands of terror attacks on India. Thousands of Indian lives have been lost in Pakistan-sponsored terror attacks. India was compelled to finally announce that the treaty will be held in abeyance until Pakistan, a global epicenter of terror, credibly and irrevocably ends its support for cross-border and all other forms of terrorism. Pakistan is well advised to introspect about the rule of law. It could start by asking itself how it has let its armed forces engineer a constitutional coup through the 27th Amendment and giving lifetime immunity to its Chief of Defense Forces. In conclusion, India would like to reiterate that strengthening the international rule of law framework and reforming multilateralism are a strategic necessity for the United Nations to effectively discharge its responsibilities with regard to maintenance of international peace and security. I thank you, Mr. President.
The representative of Pakistan has asked for the floor to make a further statement. I give them the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. My delegation is availing of its right of reply to respond to spurious claim made by India in its statement. It is an old ploy in India's playbook to level preposterous calumnies against Pakistan to deflect criticism from its illegal occupation of Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir has never been a part of India. It never will be. As per UNSC resolutions, Jammu and Kashmir is a disputed territory pending a final resolution. India brought Kashmir dispute to the United Nations, made solemn pledges in this organization, most significantly with the Kashmiris for a UN-supervised plebiscite in the disputed territory. It now stubbornly refuses to honor its international obligations and remains in violation of international law and relevant Security Council resolutions. This is the abuse of sanctity of Security Council which deserves strongest condemnation. Sermons on law, justice, and fairness ring hollow, in fact comical, from a country which is peddler of lies, planner of global assassination campaigns, and a plotter of terrorism in the region and beyond. So much so, it does not even shirk from politicizing a field as innocuous as that of sports. At the same time, by unilaterally and illegally suspending Indus Water Treaty, India now attempts to effect desertification of the ancient fertile plains of Pakistan. We would counter this latest provocation, this water terrorism, with the same resolve, clarity, and success with which we defended our country against India's aggression in May last year. India represents a classic case study of how tyranny of majoritarianism can disrupt social fabric of a political entity. Sham claims of the world of being world's largest democracy cannot belie state-sponsored pogroms led by Hindu extremist organizations against Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, and other minorities in India. Instead of belligerence against Pakistan, robbing Kashmiris of their inalienable right of self-determination and ghettoization of its own minorities, India is advised to fulfill its international legal obligations by implementing UNSC resolutions on Jammu and Kashmir and end the repression and systemic grave violence of human rights of the Kashmiris, mollify its ethnic minorities, and pursue a path of dialogue and diplomacy for an environment of peace and stability, for a better future and prosperity for billions in our region. I thank you.